Alright, it's been too long. I'm putting out at least one video here. So we are using a Nidoking and we're going against Lorelei here. So if you're new, we don't use items in battle. We're seeing what's the lowest level. We can get through the whole Elite Four with different kind of Pokemon. So what's going on here is Dugong is either going to use Rest or Aurora Beam. It's about a 50-50. So pretty much have to go for Fissure if we want to stay at this low of a level, because our other moves will not do enough damage to knock it out. Not even Thunderbolt was doing enough to be able to use it. And Aurora Beam was going to one-hit KO me every single time. So then after that comes off the Cloyster, similar situation. We pretty much just need to hit a Fissure. And of course you're seeing what is a very good run. This took a long time. This was not easy. But finally, after getting two little lucky shots in a row, we are on to the Slowbro where things lighten up a little bit. Now, I had never gotten here with this much health before. I mean, this was crazy to be here with this much health. I get here quite often, but usually somebody hits me with something, specifically Cloyster with Clamp. And then Water Gun does a surprising amount of damage. But lucky for us, we're able to get Mimic, which is going to give us Amnesia, which is going to drop down the damage that Water Gun does significantly. Slowbro can also use Withdrawal, because that's classified as a water move, and it will also use Amnesia. We don't necessarily love to see Amnesia, but it's definitely better than Water Gun. Withdrawal is perfect. And then it was kind of wondering, it's like, do I go for all the Amnesias and use 3 and risk it? Once I get a couple off, I start to feel a little more comfortable. But eventually I do, just because that's what I'm really going to need to win, especially at level 38, being a ground type, going up against ice and water Pokemon. So then out comes the Jinx. Now the physical is very bad, but it is a very fast Pokemon, and it will use Ice Punch, which is not good for us because that's going to do a lot of damage. But we do have those Amnesias up, so it's going to help us out a little bit there. So we end up going for Earthquake, and we are faster because of the badge boost. But we got a crit. I don't know if that mattered or not. I'm going to assume it did matter, but who knows. And then we go ahead and we go for Thunderbolt. We could have tried a Fissure, but I was feeling good enough with 70. And we don't quite knock it out, so we just don't want to see a crit. Paralyze is good, but it didn't really do anything. It uses Hydro Pump, which I was a little nervous, but we have all those Amnesias still, so we were good to go. And that's how you beat Lorelei at level 38 with a Nidoking. A lot of luck and a lot of tries, but you too can beat Lorelei with a Nidoking. Well, I guess level 39 actually. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get them all out, but here's one just so you can see. Alright, we're on to Bruno. We're using a Nidoking here. Just a reminder, no items in battle. So we go ahead and do the traditional Bruno strat, Mimic, Harden. That gives us our badge boost and some defense here. The unfortunate part of this is while we are busy raising our defense so we can have a nice badge boost for the Hitmonchan so we can try to avoid an Ice Punch, Bruno is also going to be able to raise his defense a little bit, so our Earthquake is not going to do that much. Nidoking is very much a physical attacker. Its special is not very good, and that'll come into play later in these runs. Kind of a fun fact about Nidoking is in some strategies for speedrunners, they use Nidoking. They're able to manipulate the RNG and catch a Nidoran pretty much consistently. It's hard to do, but if you do it right, you know you can run into a Nidoran. And then what they do once they get to the Elite Four is they use an X accuracy, and in this generation it makes Horn Driller Fissure automatically hit if you use an X accuracy, and then they do some X speed, and they're able to just sweep through teams. And then as you can see, we don't have a whole lot of HP, and we still have, 3 Mons left, 2.5 Mons left, so we are going to need a little bit of luck. I don't believe this was a first try victory, so that's a few in a row that Bruno has been stepping up his game, so that's pretty nice to see. And then you'll see how much more my Earthquake does when Bruno hasn't had a chance to buff his defense. 38 HP though, not looking good. Hit with the Rock Slide, didn't do very much, so we don't want the Machamp to do pretty much anything to us. I did go for a Fissure there, just because I needed my Earthquake. I needed Earthquake. I knew I'd be able to use Thunderbolt a little bit here, but I did not want to rely solely on Thunderbolt, so I went for a Fissure there. I wasn't really thinking I was going to win at this point, but luckily for us, Bruno is such hot garbage that we are able to just stay in the pocket with 35, 20 HP and knock out the Machamp. So that's Bruno for you. I'm still working on blue, but I'm just sending a couple of these out so you guys have something. Alright, this is an Agatha battle with a Nidoking. We were seeing what's the lowest level we can get through the Elite Four with a Nidoking. Agatha is not too bad. We're not going to outspeed a whole lot, so we're definitely going to need her to not use Nightshade. But she has some other moves that do nothing to us, so that's good. And also our Earthquake is going to be a one-hit KO because the Ghost Pokemon don't have great defense. And our stab attack is very good. Unfortunately, Golbat is part flying type, so we're going to have to use Thunderbolt on it. And it does get quite a bit of little hex damage on us. But we get some nice confused luck. And we hit the Thunderbolt. It only does about half, and that definitely was a range. Because if we look at this next Thunderbolt, it's not going to quite knock it out. But Golbat goes for Haze, which really at this point did nothing. And we go ahead and knock out the Golbat. Only 29 HP left, so we're not feeling too hot. Honestly, any Nightshade or attack at this point can probably knock us out, but Hunter goes for Dream Eater, which is sweet, so Earthquake's going to one-hit KO right there. And then out comes Arbok. Now, Arbok is a little bulkier, so we're not quite sure if Earthquake is going to one-hit KO it. And then, so we use Earthquake, and just by a pinch, maybe 1 or 2 more levels, we would have got it, but we get a nice retroactive Super Potion, so we're able to knock out the Arbok with no problem. So now we just need to get lucky. We were looking for Toxic. Honestly, Confuse Ray is better than Nightshade. We do get the Confuse Ray. So at this point, we just need to make sure we hit and get lucky. We do hit, but unfortunately not quite a one-hit KO on the level 60 Gengar. And we hurt ourselves in confusion. It's not looking great, but we finally snap out of it, and we take Agatha down. So that's Nidoking. It's doing pretty good. Level 42, level 43. Don't forget to follow, like, and comment. Thank you. Alright, we are on to Lance. We got a Nidoking where we have no items in battles. We're seeing what's the lowest level we can get through the Elite Four here. So, this was actually my first try. But I do know that if I got hit with that Hydro Pump, things would not be looking too hot for me. That being said, the only 2 Pokemon that I actually need to battle are Gyarados and Aerodactyl. Because Nidoking is part poison type, the Dragonairs are going to be locked into Agility, and the Dragonite's going to be locked into Agility and Barrier. So the Gyarados is scary, and the Aerodactyl is not too bad. You know, when you look at its moveset, there's not a whole lot that you look at that is intimidating. So it was pretty sweet to get this on a first try victory. So I'll post a video of where I'm at with blue, and I'll show you guys kind of what I mean and why this is taking so long. I really don't know that I like pumping out these videos and making you wait, you know? I don't know if I really like that. They have been doing better in the algorithm, I will say that. But at the end of the day, I know it's kind of nice just to be able to go through them. And I don't really update my YouTube too much, so this is just a way for you guys to watch them. So the only reason I'm doing this is just to give you a little bit while I'm figuring it out so you guys don't have to wait so long. And the issue is with the strategy I'm using, I did get to the Blastoise, and I was 1 fissure away from winning, but to get there it took quite a bit, so I know it's possible, so I'm pretty against leveling up anymore. But it also is really hard to get back to where I was, and then on top of that, hitting a 30% chance hit. So that's just what's taking so long here. Again, I'll probably post a failure video. I will win. I will get it at some point, but just to give you guys a little update on where that's at. I've been trying to go live, but I started a new job. It's my son's birthday this weekend, so I might be out for a little bit here. So normally I was going in early in the morning, but now me going in early in the morning is me just studying, getting all this new stuff done for the new job. But anyway, Thunderbolt didn't do a whole lot, so a little nerve-wracking because we don't have another move that can hit him. So if we ran out of power points, that could be a reset there, but it didn't end up happening. We were able to get a critical hit, so he didn't use a Hyper Potion, so that was sweet. Thank you guys. Follow, like, comment, and emoji. I appreciate the support. New video soon. Alright, I'm just going to show you guys something real quick. So here we go. We are at blue. All we have is a Nidoking level 51. Try to pause, check out the move set. It is Blizzard, Reflect, Fissure, and Earthquake. It is so far what I believe to be the most optimal move set for Nidoking. If you can think of something different, please let me know. in the comments below. I would love to try it out. So we got to get a Reflect up because of the Pidgeot, the Rhydon, the RK9, the Executor. They all use these normal moves that are going to do too much to us if we don't cut that damage in half. And like even Sky Attack does a lot of damage to us. So we really can't get hit by that. Alakazam's Psychic will one-shot KO us, so we cannot get hit by that regardless. Blizzard will not one-shot, so Earthquake is just better because there's not that 10% chance that it misses. And Alakazam, basically, we have to one-shot it either with Fissure or Earthquake, or have to get lucky on a couple different reflects. So anyway, go for Earthquake on the RK9. It is not a one-hit KO, but we just want to see Roar. Takedown is fine, but if we get a critical, not good. And Ember's not very effective, but our special's not very good, so we don't want to see that either. So getting to this point with this much health is honestly very good. Doesn't happen actually almost ever. I'm going to go ahead and go for Blizzard, get a nice critical hit there. And that didn't matter. Without that critical hit, things might not have gone as smooth. We do get put to sleep, which is unfortunate. If Executor misses Hypnosis, which it happens quite a bit, that is great. It'd be ideal that we're not put to sleep this long, but you know, it is what it is. So after time and time of this chip damage, this is why that Reflect at the very first move is so important, because if we didn't have that, we'd be dead right now. We'd have no shot. So that has to stay unless you can think of something else. So I get a nice lucky Hypnosis miss there. I go for the Earthquake just because it is 100% accurate, other than the Gen 1 miss stuff. Now here's the deal. I need a little bit of luck, and I got it, but I got it with the wrong move. It used Withdrawal so many times, which was so nice, but Fissure was not hitting. Couldn't get to hit it, kept using Withdrawal, and then finally F me.